This year's WrestleMania is a lot of things. And normally every year I would give a prediction video on who's going to win these events tonight. But instead, I am going to explain something, or at least admit something to the rest of you guys on the internet. I do not care about storylines in wrestling. Not as much as the rest of you do. I have a simple a philosophy that's kept me watching wrestling from all organizations for 38 years. Here's that simple philosophy. I'll put it in a sentence for you. When the bell goes ding, none of it matters. What does that mean, really? Well, it's in the sentence. When the match starts, none of the storyline that you watched, none of the bad booking you watched, none of the terrible, horrible, celebrity-driven decisions that you've watched matters. None of it does. After the bell go ding, it's all about ring psychology. It's all about telling the story through movement, like a ballet or figure skating. That's what wrestling is at its core. A highly choreographed figure skating show without any judges and just plain winning. I'm better than you. But when you watch figure skating, you're watching a choreographed story through jumps. That's essentially what wrestling is. A more athletic, two-person figure skating routine with the injuries to back it up. And once the bell go ding, that's all that matters. But thanks to the most horrible era in wrestling ever, the Attitude Era, we put over too much emphasis on what happens before the bell go ding. Things like the infamous My Way vignette. Things like interviews like the game interview. Or promos like Randy Orton's promo or Pat McAfee's 2 promos. We put too much emphasis, especially on the modern wrestling internet, on these things because we give a too damn much about the thing making too much goddamn sense. We're not only doing this in wrestling, we're doing this in fiction. Everything's gotta make sense. Everything's gotta line up. Something just can't be weird for the sense of being weird. We have spent the last, I don't know, 2 decades of wrestling fandom trying to get rid of the goofy and goofy wrestling bullshit. So, pretty much all we want is just bullshit with some wrestling in between it. We don't want it to be goofy, nonsensical. We want it to read like a Tom Clancy novel where the wrestling fan has the aha moment. But then the bell go ding. Tonight in Las Vegas, the bell will go ding. None of what you have seen, just like any wrestling event ever, will matter. Because even if you try to make 20-ton sense of it, and even if you have that aha moment of wrestling writing brilliance, none of it is going to matter because the company might pick the absolute reverse result of anything that you decide to come up with. Or They might do the exact result you expected, but in an extremely interesting or extremely boring way. It just depends. But when the bell go ding, if the match was good for 20 minutes or 15 minutes or the average 10-minute match, the match was interesting. Who gives a crap about the setup? The setup really doesn't matter. And in this era of the internet where fans are overly reactionary anyway, it's hard to tell a story at all considering that the wrestling fan itself won't play ball. The reason why Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes sucks as a storyline is just merely off of the fact that American wrestling fans, American specifically, don't like to play ball. They like to be smarter than the room. They have their thumbs up their tea glasses and up their own ass, thinking potentially that they know how to better write a show. You guys might as well be wearing top hats and zoot suits and playing Monopoly all the time with how big wigged you guys sound. You guys sound like idiots. You no longer sound like fans. You don't even sound like critics. Because even a critic like myself is still a fan. That's why I don't really care. I try to understand. I try to predict. But do I care? No. Because once the bell goes ding, none of the over-analysis that I did, especially with my artistic brain, is definitely going to freaking matter. In any wrestling storyline, I'll tell you straight up, I come up with 6 scenarios. 6 before the storyline is over. Looking at every single angle that a storyline could possibly go, injuries included. And this WrestleMania, shoot, we're on option D or E at this point. None of it has gone the way of Triple H and the creative team. And yes, if this sounds like corporate apology, yes, it absolutely is. And I don't care. I actually like being a corporate apologist. Why? Because I get to have fun, unlike all of you. Because I get to turn my brain off and just wait until tonight. When the bell go ding. And if the matches are great anyway, are you really gonna actually care about all the Pat McAfee introductions and all the hubbubaloo and confusion and multiple injuries? No. You're going to remember that last freeze frame that they're going to use in every WrestleMania vignette from here until tomorrow. The last quote spoken, the rockets and titles going up in the background. You're going to remember Michael Cole's crazy call at something, or Cody getting dick kick city'd for the 6th time this month. That's what you're going to remember. You're not going to remember anything once the bell goes ding, because in wrestling, when bell goes ding, it's like the Men in Black neuralizer. Nothing before that ever happened. Your mind goes blank. It's just too bad that we as wrestling fans have forgotten to blank it all out and live for the moment. God knows in this society, we should be living for a heck of a lot more moments. But remember tonight, bell will go ding. What happens after it doesn't really matter, because the bell will go ding again. As long as you live by this philosophy, you'll have a lot more fun in wrestling, instead of living in misery like most of you have been in 6 weeks. Have fun tonight if you're still intellectually capable of that. Enjoy the artistry of the bell going ding, because in the end, that's all that matters. And tonight, for the 42nd time, it's my second birthday, and the bell is about to go ding. And I, regardless of the book written to get here, I'm gonna enjoy every second of it. Find peace.